Hi everyone, I'm Jason Cooper with Annex Wealth Management's What's That? What's the difference between the federal debt and federal deficit? The federal debt is the total amount of money that the United States government owes to its creditors. The federal government has many types of creditors, including individuals, businesses, and foreign governments. Each of these creditors owns federal bonds, which are commonly known as treasuries. Why does the federal government need to borrow money? Through the years, the government has issued bonds to finance various programs and operations. With the exception of one year in the 1800s, the federal government has had some amount of fluctuating debt since the government was formed in the 1700s. While federal debt has been around for centuries, today's debt is greater than at any time in our nation's history. The debt growth is in a large part because of the other topic we're looking at, the budget deficit. The budget deficit is the amount of money that the government spends more than the revenue it collects in the form of taxes. In other words, it's the shortfall between the government's income and expenses for a given year. So when the government spends more money than it brings in through taxes and other sources of revenue, it must borrow money to make up for the shortfall. This borrowing adds to the federal debt. It's important to note that both federal debt and budget deficit are closely related and can have a significant impact on the country's economy and future generations. Governments typically aim to balance their budget by increasing revenue or reducing spending, which can help to keep the federal debt in check over time. Our federal debt has increased significantly over the last few years due to a step up in government spending relating to the COVID pandemic. To give you some perspective, our debt was 35% of our gross domestic product during the Great Recession, was about 80% of our GDP right before the pandemic, and is well over 100% of our GDP today. So that's it. Federal debt and deficit. We could talk for a long time on when, if, or how we might repay it all. But at least now, you've got the basic definitions of both. For more educational videos like this one, check out the Annex Wealth Management YouTube channel. Thanks.